Hey everyone, how's it going? So today I wanted to show you my new hobby. This is not replacing quadcopters and model airplanes, but it's definitely a great addition to it, I think. So I got a 3D printer. This is a Maker Select by Monoprice, the V2 I think. So far it's been a great printer, but I'll go and show you some of the mods that I added to it and some of the cool things that I've been printing with it. So I made these, or I printed out these Z-brace brackets that I found on Thingiverse, and it just connects the top part to the bottom part with a metal threaded rod. It just keeps the top from vibrating around, and it works pretty good. I printed out this new spool holder too. I found that on Thingiverse also. The original one was too short to hold these Hatchbox filaments rolls, so I just printed out a longer one that I found online. I've been printing with this painter's tape on the build bed just because I saw a lot of people recommended it, and it seems to work really well, and it lets you don't have to like scrape the stuff and worry about messing up the build plate, so that works pretty good. And then on each side I designed these mounts myself. This bracket hole, it bolts onto those two holes there that were already on the printer, and it holds the scraper here. It's got a little thing that sticks out that the scraper goes on. It also holds 3 of these Allen wrenches, the 3 that I can use to take apart any of the bolts on the printer. I'm not sure exactly what sizes they are, but I know the middle one is I mean, they both work for like M3 bolts, but they'd have different size like hex heads on them, so I got those. Now on the other side I made this bracket, which holds a screwdriver. It's a really fine pointed screwdriver that I can use to help pry off things from the print bed. And I've got a pair of cutters things, and then I also have a ruler there. Just hold those. I also I found these brackets or these mounts on Thingiverse for the front, the top, and on the back, but I didn't see any on for the middle part, so I just designed my own. I just measured out how far away that the bottom of these were from the bottom of the printer, and I made these myself just so that it has contact on 3 points so that middle part isn't floating. But yeah, this printer works really well. So right now I'm printing a miniature Sears tower that's in Chicago. I already printed out the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, over in Dubai, and I scaled this one so it should be at the same scale as it. So I think it'll be pretty cool to have them both. So let me show you some of the neat things that I made. So I almost forgot to mention that I also added the Mosfet mod, which is pretty highly recommended online. Basically, there's a wire that goes from the main board in there that goes to the heated bed, because the bed heats up to make the prints stick to it better. And the wires go through this plastic connector, which isn't really rated for the current that's going through it. So you bypass that connector by routing the wires through a MOSFET. And I put on the inside. I printed out like a bracket that I found online that holds it in there, and that works pretty well because apparently it can melt down some stuff if you don't do that. Alright, so this is basically what started my obsession with 3D printing. This is a little part that I had to make for one of my engineering courses in college, and we have a 3D printer there that we use to make this, but I thought it was like fascinating being able to print 3D things with it. So that's why I got my own printer. So that's what started it out. And then I printed out a little benchmark boat thing that everybody prints out to test out how good their printer is. And I think it came out pretty well. And then I printed out a little Statue of Liberty. Now all these files I found online. I didn't make any of them really. That one came out pretty good. Actually, this was the first thing I printed out, because it's just a test cube. It's like 2 centimeters each direction or something like that. But it's just to test to make sure your printer is actually printing the right dimensions. And that worked good. And I printed this Sears tower at the school's printer, and it came out pretty good. But it's not to scale with the Burj Khalifa over there, so that's why I'm printing another one. This one's too big. And I printed this cool Lattice Cube that I've seen a lot of people make online. And it came out fairly decent, I think. The bottom's kind of a little bit messed up, but it's fine. And then I made this, which is a little impossible dovetail box that you can open up by sliding out sideways. And then here's the Burj Khalifa that I just printed last night. It came out really well. I slowed the printer speed down to like 30 millimeters per second, and I had been printing at 50, and I changed the layer height to like, I think it was 1.5 millimeters or something like that, or 0.15, but it turned out really well. Like, you can barely even see the layers. I also found this setting in Cura that lets you change the print speed, and like these top layers, I changed the print speed to be a lot slower than the rest of it, so it came out pretty good actually. This point is really fine. And then I found this online too. This is a bracket that holds the fan, and it mounts on the back side of the printer, so you can actually see what you're printing, so that fan's not in the way. But I don't have the right size screws to bolt it to the printer, so once those get in the mail, I will be putting that on. Hopefully it lines up right and works good. And I kind of have a weird obsession with tops, so I've been designing these. I found this one online, and then from that I kind of got a goal to make one spin for like 2 minutes. So I printed out a whole bunch of different ones, and these copper looking ones are the best one. This one's the best one that I made. It spins for about 2.5 minutes on a piece of glass. But I designed all these myself in Fusion 360. I almost forgot to show you this. This is a 737. I found it on Thingiverse, and I printed it out. It came in like 4 or 5 different models. Then you can glue them together. And this is probably one of the neatest things that I made. It took a total of like 17 or 18 hours to print, like combine all the times together. I printed it over the course of like 3 days, but like the nose is one piece, and then the middle section is another piece, and the tail, and then the stabilizers and the wings and the engines. But it came out really well, I think. Now, of course, in terms of quadcopters and drones and model airplanes, this is going to be a great tool building things out of a 3D printer. But I already designed these little landing pads for my quadcopter. You can see they're just basically semicircles that have holes in them for the motor bolts. And of course they say aplane, so that's pretty cool, I think. They came out really well. And then I also printed out, I designed these. And these are just little caps that go over the sticks on your transmitter. A lot of people use these, but I designed these ones myself, and they say aplane on them. And those are pretty good. So those go in there, so when you close it up, it doesn't rub the sticks against the top here and mess them up or anything. So that came out pretty good. That's pretty much all I've printed so far. So I plan on doing a lot more with it in the future. So thanks a lot for watching. See you later.